What if I told you that the heart of American Catholic life doesn't beat in just one city or one coast, but across a living map of parishes, schools, hospitals, festivals, and family traditions that stretch from the Pacific Northwest to the Gulf Coast, from the Midwest to the desert Southwest? Today we're counting down the top 15 U.S. states with the largest Catholic populations in 2025. These aren't just numbers. These are stories of grandparents and godparents, first communions and feast days, of immigrant families who carried their faith across oceans and rivers and found a home in American neighborhoods. Stay with me to the end, because the top 5 will surprise you, and the number 1 state is larger than many entire countries. Number 15. Washington may not come to mind when people picture Catholic strongholds, but the story here is quietly powerful. With close to 8 million residents, an estimated 800,000 Catholics call this state home, just over 10% of the population. If you step into Seattle's St. James Cathedral on a busy weekend, you'll hear the hymns rise under vaulted ceilings while families from the Philippines, Mexico, and dozens of countries gather as one community. This is where the Catholic Church often grows by welcome and witness, vibrant choirs, bilingual liturgies, and parishes that run food banks and shelters with calm determination. The roots go back to French missionaries who first built parishes in remote territory. Today, those roots are alive in a modern city that is known for technology but still kneels for prayer. Washington is proof that, even in a place famous for religious diversity and secular life, faith can spread its branches quietly and still shape the culture of service and care. Number 14. Minnesota's Catholic story reaches deep into the past and right into the homes of today. Nearly 900,000 Catholics live here, around 15% of the population. The Cathedral of St. Paul looks over the capital like a stone crown, a sign of faith that has endured since French missionaries and later Irish and German immigrants built the early parishes. Minnesota's approach is steady and strong. Catholic schools that shape character as well as minds. Universities that expect leadership through service, and parishes where winter coat drives and summer festivals both feel like family reunions. In the Twin Cities, you can watch a parish fish fry fill a hall with laughter, and you can see outreach ministries stretch across neighborhoods, caring for the poor and the lonely. Here, the numbers might be modest compared with some states on this list, but the influence is larger than a percentage. It's the feeling of a faith that anchors communities in every season. Number 13. Wisconsin, with about 1.2 million Catholics. Wisconsin brings together tradition and community in a way that feels like home. That's roughly 21% of the state. German and Polish immigrants left a living legacy. Parishes like the Basilica of St. Josaphat in Milwaukee, where marble, music, and prayer meet under a grand dome built by hands that worked hard in factories and farms. In Wisconsin, parish festivals aren't just events, they are milestones on the local calendar. The kind of gatherings where neighbors greet each other by name, children race between booths, and volunteers seem to know exactly how much potato salad feeds a crowd. Schools remain strong, Catholic charities are steady, and universities that carry a Catholic identity continue to serve students with heart and purpose. Wisconsin shows how Catholic life works best when it becomes part of daily life. Sunday worship flowing into Monday service, feasts flowing into family tables, faith forming the rhythm of a town. Number 12. Louisiana is Catholic in a way you can hear, taste, and see. With over 1.2 million Catholics, more than 25% of the state, Catholicism is woven into its culture. Think of Mardi Gras, rooted in the liturgical calendar before Lent. Think of gumbo stirred for feast days and processions that wind past Spanish and French balconies in New Orleans. The Cathedral Basilica of St. Louis, King of France, rises over Jackson Square, a symbol of endurance and joy. In Louisiana, parish life spills into the streets with music and color. It is ordinary and extraordinary at once. A child's baptism at a neighborhood parish, a city coming together in prayer after a storm, community making sure the elderly never eat alone. Here, the faith is not just a belief. It is a rhythm that shapes how people live, celebrate, stand together. Number 11. Arizona. The Catholic story feels like a preview of the future, young, diverse, and growing fast. More than 1.6 million Catholics, just over 21% of the population, pray beneath the sun of the Southwest. In Phoenix and Tucson, you'll find processions for Our Lady carried by families who bring flowers and songs. You'll hear the gospel proclaimed in English and Spanish. And you'll see parish courtyards glow in the evening as people share food and stories. St. Mary's Basilica in Phoenix stands as a landmark. But the real story is in the neighborhoods where faith binds communities. Arizona shows how the church grows when families bring devotion from home into parish life. When youth groups are full, and when the next generation learns to serve with joy, this is a church that looks forward while holding tightly to what matters: faith, family, and love of neighbor. Number 10, Michigan's Catholic population is about 1.5 million. And the story here is written in brick, glass, steel, and perseverance. In Detroit, the Basilica of St. Anne Detroit and parish churches built by Polish and Italian immigrants rise like memory and promise. The Archdiocese of Detroit oversaw hundreds of parishes, schools, and ministries that fed the poor, taught the young, and welcomed the newcomer. Even when factories closed and neighborhoods suffered, many parishes kept their doors open, refusing to abandon the people who needed hope. Today, you'll see renewal, ministries that blend tradition with modern needs, festivals that bring neighborhoods together again, and schools that teach virtue alongside science and art. Michigan reminds us that faith is strongest when it stands firm in hard times and celebrates with gratitude in the good number 9. Ohio counts roughly 1.8 million Catholics, and you can feel that presence in cities and small towns alike. Cleveland's Cathedral of St. John the Evangelist and Cincinnati's historic parishes show how. German and Irish immigrants built more than churches. They built communities with schools, hospitals, and charities. Xavier University, University of Dayton, and John Carroll University have formed generations of leaders who understand that learning and service belong together. In parish halls, fish fries and festivals bring people together. In outreach centers, food pantries and shelters protect the most vulnerable. The picture across Ohio is steady devotion and steady service. The bells ring on Sundays, but the doors also open on Tuesdays and Thursdays for anyone who needs help. Number 8. Massachusetts is one of the most deeply Catholic states by share of population, over 2.3 million Catholics. It's more than 35% of its people. This is a place where the 19th century arrival of Irish immigrants changed the shape of cities in the course of American Catholic history. Walk through Boston's neighborhoods and you'll find church spires on the skyline and parish schools on the corner. Catholic colleges like Boston College and the College of the Holy Cross have taught countless students to seek truth and serve with conviction. The story here is cultural as well as spiritual, from St. Patrick's Day traditions to parish feasts, from charity drives to civic leadership. It is also a story of resilience. Challenges came, but parishes adapted and communities held on to what made them strong. Number 7. New Jersey may be small on the map, but it is large in Catholic life. About 3 million Catholics, close to 32% of the state. Immigrant families from Italy, Ireland, and Poland filled parishes that are still full today, joined by Latino families whose devotion brings fresh energy and color. The Cathedral Basilica of the Sacred Heart in Newark is a masterpiece of stone and stained glass, a visible sign that beauty lifts the heart to God. In New Jersey, Sunday Mass is only the beginning. Schools teach children to grow in wisdom and grace. Hospitals and charities care for the sick and the poor with quiet strength. And in many towns, these day processions fill the streets with music and prayer that remind everyone of their roots and their hope. Number 6. Catholic population is more than 2.8 million. And the church's story here runs from colonial days to steel mills and beyond. In Philadelphia, the Cathedral Basilica of Saints Peter and Paul is a pillar of faith. In Pittsburgh and across the state, parishes built by Irish, Italian, German, and Eastern European immigrants still stand as centers of worship and service. The universities Villanova near Philadelphia and Duquesne in Pittsburgh symbolize how Catholic life invests in education that forms both mind and heart. Catholic hospitals and charities stretch across neighborhoods, caring for families one by one. In a time when many feel isolated, Pennsylvania's Catholic institutions still bring people together, teaching that love of God and love of neighbor go hand in hand. Number 5, Illinois. With more than 3.7 million Catholics, nearly 30% of the state, Illinois is one of the most deeply Catholic places in the country, anchored by Chicago. People call Chicago the Catholic capital of the Midwest, and it's easy to see why. The Archdiocese of Chicago shepherds hundreds of parishes and schools, while landmarks like Holy Name Cathedral, St. Mary of the Angels, and Holy Trinity Polish tell the story of immigrants who built beauty for God with their own hands. Catholic higher education in Illinois is strong. Loyola University Chicago and DePaul University have educated students for more than a century, pushing them to serve not only with skill but also with conscience. Beyond the city, parishes in places like Peoria keep traditions alive and welcome the next wave of families. Number 4. New York's Catholic story is big, diverse, and unforgettable. About 5.9 million Catholics, roughly 30% of the state. Think of St. Patrick's Cathedral on Fifth Avenue. Its spires like open hands on the skyline. But the heart of Catholic New York beats in places like the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, and upstate towns, where Mass is celebrated in many languages and parish kitchens smell like every country on earth. Irish, Italian, and Polish immigrants built the first chapters. Puerto Rican, Dominican, Mexican, and many other communities write the latest ones. Universities such as Fordham and St. John's keep the academic tradition strong. And the network of Catholic hospitals and charities is one of the most extensive in the nation. From the cause of sainthood for Dorothy Day to outreach to migrants and the homeless, New York shows what it looks like when faith refuses to stay inside the walls of a church. Number 3. Florida is one of the most dynamic Catholic states today, about 4.4 million Catholics. Nearly 20% of the population spread across a fast-growing landscape. In Miami, Cuban exiles rebuilt their lives around parish communities that preserved faith and culture in the face of exile. In Orlando and across Central Florida, Puerto Rican families have filled parishes with music and devotion, turning halls into home. Retirees bring their traditions from the Northeast, and new families arrive every year. Parishes are expanding, schools are full, and the Basilica of the National Shrine of Mary, Queen of the Universe, welcomes streams of travelers who find themselves kneeling amid the rush of a vacation city. Florida's Catholic life is a mosaic, warm, diverse, energetic, and always welcoming. Number 2. Texas is vast, and so is its Catholic population, around 6.3 million, just over 20% of the state. The story stretches back centuries. Spanish missionaries founded early missions, including Mission San Jose and Mission San Juan Capistrano in San Antonio, leaving a foundation that still holds. Today, Texas parishes are overflowing, especially in Houston and San Antonio, where Mass is celebrated in many languages. And ministries reach out to the poor, immigrants, and anyone in need. The Co-Cathedral of the Sacred Heart in Houston and San Fernando, Cathedral in San Antonio, stand like bookends to a story written by millions of families. Youth ministries are packed. Feast days bring neighborhoods together. And in fast-growing suburbs, new parishes rise to meet the needs of communities that haven't stopped growing. Texas shows that Catholic life can be both ancient and new, at the same time, old mission bells and brand new. Church doors opening to welcome the next generation. Number 1. California stands at the top with more than 10.2 million Catholics, over 1/4 of a state that is larger than many countries. The story begins with Franciscan missions along the Pacific coast, from San Diego to Sonoma. Those bells still ring, but the church here has grown far beyond them. The Archdiocese of Los Angeles is the largest in the nation, and the Cathedral of Our Lady of the Angels stands at the heart of a city where Mass is celebrated in dozens of languages. Latino Catholics form the living core of growth, and alongside them, Filipino, Vietnamese, Korean, African, and many other communities fill parishes with life. Schools educate hundreds of thousands, Hospitals and charities care for the sick, the poor, and the stranger. In California, you can walk from a historic mission to a modern urban cathedral and understand, in a single afternoon, how the church carries its past into the future. This is Catholicism on a grand scale. Historic in its origins, diverse in its people, and alive in every corner. Today, Latino Catholics form the heart of the church's growth, bringing vibrant traditions of devotion and community life. Alongside them, Filipino, Vietnamese, Korean, countless other Catholic communities have built thriving parishes, schools, and ministries that mirror the state's remarkable cultural diversity. Nowhere is this more visible than in Los Angeles, where the Archdiocese of Los Angeles stands as the largest in the entire United States, serving millions of faithful and functioning as a global hub of Catholic life. From the grand liturgies at the Cathedral of Our Lady of the Angels, to small parish gatherings in suburban neighborhoods and immigrant enclaves, Catholicism in California is alive at every level. The state's Catholic universities, charities, and hospitals also leave a wide impact, offering education, healthcare, and humanitarian aid on a scale matched by few other places. From historic mission bells to modern urban skylines, California embodies Catholicism on a grand scale, historic in its origins, diverse in its communities, and alive in every possible sense. From the emerging Catholic communities of Washington to the 10 million faithful of California, these 15 states together reveal the beating heart of Catholic America. They tell stories of immigration, resilience, diversity, and continuity that stretch across centuries. The Church in the United States is not retreating. It is alive, expanding and shaping the nation's future. And so, the real question that lingers for every one of us is this: how will the Catholic story continue to unfold in the generations yet to come? Before you go, do not forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others so that more people can join in exploring the living story of Catholic America.